Hi, today before I get into the video that I promised that I would be bringing to you, I wanted to tell you about a collaboration that I'm doing. This is called March into Canning Madness 2025. And the collaborations that I'm doing are with Hillbilly Chicken Ranch and also with Blackberry Homestead. Go check out their channels and be sure to subscribe and like their channels. Also, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, and if you like my content, then be sure that you like it and share it. The reason for my video right now is I want to talk to you about what's going on economically in the country, because preparation for it is the way to get through it. And you might say, how do I know, or what makes me think that all this is going on, or what I'm about to talk to you is going on? And the first thing I'm going to say is I listened to the president. Over the weekend, the president said we could be going into a recession. Now, President Trump says we might be going into into a recession. But our last administration said, oh, everything's good. We don't have a recession. But at some point over the last couple of years, they changed the criteria for what you call a recession. So I'm thinking, okay, if we've been in a recession already and it gets worse, could we go into a slight depression? I don't know, but it's best to be prepared just in case. We have a lot of things going on in the world right now. I mean, the wrong move could put us into World War III. And then, of course, the tariffs coming from other countries is going to affect the price of goods in the grocery store. And, of course, that's going to take a while, I guess, for that to balance out, because the tariffs are going back and forth. So it could decrease the price on some things and it could increase the price on other things. One thing that I will tell you is that a lot of the silver coming into this country that they make into silver coins comes from Mexico. And so if they put a 20% tariff on the silver that's coming into the country, and you've got silver that you buy today at, say, $34, add 20% to that, and the first of the month, it could be, $45 or $50, depending on where you buy it and how much you pay for it. So that's a pretty good profit. But I want to talk to you about how do you prepare ahead of time for something like this. And the first thing that I'm going to tell you is if you've got bills, if you can pay them off, get out of debt as fast as you can. If that's not an option for you, I'll give you another scenario here in a minute, but pay every bill that you possibly can pay. And the other thing that I would tell you is stash every amount of cash that you can. Do not spend money on vacations. Do not spend money on things that are not necessary. Going out to eat, going out to movies. Look at your subscriptions and things like that you have at home. Get rid of everything that you can cut so that you can save as much money as you can, because if we go into a major recession or even a slight depression, we don't know if it's going to last 6 months. It could last a year. It could last 2 years. The Great Depression, I've heard various different numbers, but they're, most of them center around 10 years. The major part of it was at least 2 years. So prepare as much as you can going into it, or before we get to that point, so that it gives you a little bit of a cushion. Now, when I say prepare, I'm talking about, number one, make sure you've got some stock of water in your house. Now, if you're on a well, what if your electricity's off? The last couple of days, we've seen news that Twitter, the new X, was hacked and it took it down. Well, I'm here to tell you, if they can take down X, they could take down the power grid, they could take down, spotty areas of electricity. They could take down the municipality, the local municipal water systems. They've done that all over the country. And they could take down the banking systems, these hackers from around the world. So make sure these people around Cott County in North Carolina, and you folks down in Florida that go through hurricane season, I know that you probably have plenty of water in your pantry. And those folks up in the mountains of North Carolina, I'd say they probably, the ones that are back in homes, are probably trying to stock some water in their pantries also. But that's important. You can't live without water. About 3 days is the maximum. So make sure that you've got some water put back. And, they recommend a gallon per person in your household per day. I think that's low, but, you do what's right for you. And the other thing that you're going to want to do is stockpile some of the foods that your family eats. And then if you can get extra medications, make sure you've got that on hand, some over-the-counter stuff, and your household products like your, toilet paper, paper towels, whatever of those kinds of things that you use. Make sure you've got some extras on hand. Those are the things that you can stick back and forget about. Buy an extra toilet paper or paper towels or whatever, and stick them on a shelf somewhere and forget about them. And then when you run out in the bathroom or the kitchen, then go to the grocery store and pick up some more. Don't use what you've got stockpiled. Get extra laundry supplies and extra soap, extra deodorant and toothpaste, and, those kinds of things. Check back maybe either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm going to come back and do another video, probably Thursday afternoon. And I want to give you a list of things that you should have on hand at home, so that, in these various different categories, so that if the economy goes south, you've got something to fall back on. In a job loss, there's people losing their jobs all over the country right now. If you had a job loss, then, if you've got food at home, especially you people with little kids, if you've got food in the house, you can still feed your family. Or, make sure you've got some Tylenol and some ibuprofen. And if you've got children, make sure you've got the children's Tylenol and children's ibuprofen. And so, anyway, I just wanted to come on and just give you a heads up about this. And those of you that followed me on Facebook, and, I ended up with about 11,000 people on there when I shut it down because they censored me so bad. But I called it from day one, when I started it early in the pandemic, that we would have supply chain interruptions. And everybody's that's, unless you've been under a rock somewhere, how it was going to the grocery store during that time, when you couldn't find toilet paper and you couldn't find canning lids and things like that. Right now is the time to stock up on those things. And if you have a place where you can grow a garden, or if you've just got some flower pots that you can throw some herbs in, you could throw some kale or some kind of greens, grow you some microgreens. Anything that you can grow will be a supplement to your pantry. Grow your own herbs if you don't have a lot of space. But if you've got the space for it, grow a garden. If you've got a neighbor, get a neighbor to go in with you and grow a garden. And, tomatoes. Grow lots of tomatoes, because whenever I talk to you about about stocking your pantry with canned food, I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways to use tomatoes. So anyway, I just wanted to come on and give you all a little heads up about this, and be sure and check back in on Thursday. Subscribe to the channel so you'll get a notice. And then on Thursday afternoon, I'll come back and go over a whole list of things that you should have stocked in your house. And one of the biggest things that, depending on how bad things could get, you need some kind of protection. I'll just put it like that. Some physical protection for your family. Make sure you're able to protect your home and your family. So anyway, check back on Thursday. Until next time, God bless you.